Hey guys, Arseny here. So today we're going to be talking about how I benchmark the video games and how I benchmark my GPUs. So the folder that you see right here, it's going to be all made available online with every GPU that I benchmark. I'll be updating it every time. So it will not stay as it is right now, but you'll be able to have access to it later on. It will be public, and you'll be able to check out all my results if you don't trust me or want to just take a look at my different results. So here, let's go into the benchmark doc for me to explain it. Here you first see what clocks the video cards are running at, because I overclock my video cards. I think it's easy for everybody, plus especially the way I overclock them is a 5-minute overclock. I don't change the core voltages. I just do the power slider to the right and then adjust some clock speeds. These are very conventional overclocks that everybody should be able to achieve. Therefore I think it's easy. The way I also test them is I run one run of Firestrike with them. If they don't crash, it's fine. If they crash, I reduce them, because as I saw, Firestrike is a pretty good measure for system stability overall. Yeah, and now let's see what is this like. So of course here we have Firestrike and TimeSpy. Both of these are very common, and you see those graphs, and you'll also see them in my benchmarking results as well as for everybody else. With TimeSpy it's a bit different, because unlike Firestrike, where you have standard, extreme, and ultra, where standard stands for 1080p, extreme 1440, and ultra for 4K, TimeSpy, the original one, only runs at 1440p. That's why I have a total score in 1440p here in orange, but all the other ones don't have one. It's because there you have to run a custom, and with the custom one you only get the graphics and CPU tests, while you don't get the total score. If you're interested, you can still run the other two, but that's how I decided to include them, because why not? It's not that much work. Now going on to benchmarks. As you see, I do 5 runs with each benchmark, also the previous ones. You see, every time I had 5 runs here. Then for the average FPS, I take the average of all of these, while for example, the minimum, I take the minimum of my observed minimal FPS, and for maximum FPS, I take also the maximum of my observed FPS. This is just to show you how the range is gonna be of all the games, but you will not see this in the video, because if I would enable it, the graphs would get way too cluttered. I'll show you here once and apply. At this point it's hard to compare graphics cards, because the average is always in the middle, and then it gets overshadowed by the maximums. That's why I think it's easier for me to just publish this document for everybody to be able to see the min, max, and average on their own terms, instead of having everything presented in the video and then you having to stop the video 5 times to check out everything. Therefore, this is much more concise, it's easier to read for everybody. And of course, if you don't agree with my system of checking the minimums and maximums, put it in the comments below. I'm willing to listen, and nothing is set in stone, but I think it's interesting to see the minimum you get in absolute values, as well as the maximum, instead of just seeing the average of those. Because at that point you know about the maximal range you will see from this GPU and this configuration, instead of just having this one small data point. Editing Arseny here, so I wanted to tell you one thing that I forgot to tell you, is that all the settings are right under the name of the game, so if you're interested you can just go ahead and copy them. I don't use any anti-aliasing, but all the rest is pretty much maxed out. I think anti-aliasing is in most cases not required unless you have a low DPI screen like a 27-inch 1080p. I'm running everything at 4K 27 inches with a DPI of 160, so at that screen I really don't need any anti-aliasing anymore. Enjoy the rest of the video. then you see for most of my games, like both Metros, Ashes to Singularity, Tomb Raiders, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Hitman, and Shadow of Mordor, as well as Warhammer Total War. All of them have built-in benchmarks, and I use the built-in benchmarks for these games. In my opinion, if a developer takes the time to create an in-game benchmark, they choose a spot which is representative of the game, because why would they invest the time if they don't want it to be representative? It also helps out the consumer to choose which settings they want to turn on and off, and a quick check. Therefore, I use the built-in benchmarks. If you don't agree with me, put it down in the comments below, but so far I think they have been pretty representative. Also in my testing suite you see two games that do not have built-in benchmarks. One of them is Overwatch, and the other one is Doom, running OpenGL and Vulkan. For both of these games, I'm having the results over here. So I do a 2-minute runs 5 times, and then I do the same as for the built-in benchmarks. I average out the average FPS and write down the minimum and maximums. And here you have them. For Overwatch, I just go into competitive play and play the game while recording, pressing F11 for fraps, and then recording it. With Doom, I have a special benchmark run. If you're interested, I could post it later on what my exact benchmark run is, but it is 2 minutes in the Forge at the beginning. So you're running in the Foundry, so you're running around shooting some bad guys and doing a lot of glory kills, plus explosions. I think this should be encompassing most of it. Plus with OpenGL I can just press F11 with fraps and it records my FPS. As for Doom with Vulkan, I'm using a program called PresentMon, and also using the PresentMon launcher that was written by Andrew from Tech Team GB, as well as Jim from Adore TV. Really shout out to those two guys, because this makes my life so much easier, because my previous Doom benchmarks were a pain to do in Vulkan, and now it's just same as fraps pretty much. If you're interested, I can make a video about how I use this PresentMon launcher. So put it down in the comments below. So as you see here, I'm completely open on how I do my benchmarks, and I'm willing to listen to your suggestions on how I should improve it or what I should change. I don't have GTA in my benchmarking suite, because currently it's been a real bitch to benchmark for me. It's been always crashing when I change the resolution, so I decided to just throw it out, and I think right now it is a well-representative suite of benchmarks that I have right here. So, Arseny signing out, and thanks for watching.